What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I have an unboxing and first impressions on the Nike Phantom GX2. Now I'm very excited about this boot. I decided not to get the launch colorway just because I didn't really like it, and this Mad Ready pack, I just really love this one. So when I saw leaks online, I just decided to wait and make sure to get this colorway, and I'm glad I did. So here we have a standard Nike box, and here we have the Nike Phantom GX2 Elite in the AG Pro variation. So this is the AG sole plate instead of just the firm ground sole plate, which I'll explain later why I decided to get the AG instead of the firm ground. And unboxing it, we do get a string bag like we always do with Nike boots. The string bag here has the same pattern found in the boot, and it's like white and gold. Phantom GX Luna logo there because basically they are the same boot now, and I'll explain that later. Now we have the boots here, and take them out, and my gosh, just look at that colorway. It's just so clean. I love the white, the gold, the black. It just looks amazing. 100 times better than the launch colorway in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of the colorway down below in the comments. So now here we have it, the Nike Phantom GX2, the second generation of the Phantom GX. And the Phantom GX was one of my favorite boots that came out last year. It was for sure in my top 3. And I feel like a lot of people were worried when the Phantom GX2 came out just because I feel like based on the looks, it didn't look like it was going to be the same as the original Phantom GX. But holding it in hand and stuff like that, I can tell you guys that it's just as good as the Phantom GX. We'll take a closer look at the colorway just because I think this colorway is very nice. You do have like this gold here. It's very nice. You do have black. You have this, it's not white, it's more like a kind of off-white. You guys can see the laces and the knit here. That's clearly white, and then the grip knit here is like kind of like an off-white. So it's more like an eggshell white, I guess. And also another thing that was very hard to see in the pictures online that it's easier to see in person. I'm not sure if you guys can see it well in the camera either, but you guys can see here in between, it is like hints of gold instead of white. That's the high tenacity yarn, that it's a different color. It's in this gold color. So you just get little like speckles of gold within the upper, which I just think it's a really nice detail. Get the small Nike gold logo here, and then the Phantom GX here in the back. Now looking at the boot itself, with the GX2 and the Luna 2, Nike basically combined both models, and now the low cut is the GX2 and the high cut is basically the Luna 2. So it's like the same thing with the Superfly and the Vapor. Low cut is Vapor, high cut is Superfly, but they're the exact same boot. But anyways, we'll first look at the upper of the GX2. Now the GX2 still does have a grip knit upper, and I was worried when they did kind of combine both models just because the grip knit found on the Luna wasn't really the same as the GX1. It was very different, and I was worried that they weren't going to implement the same grip knit found as the GX1. But on the GX2, it is the same exact grip knit found on the GX1. It's still very sticky on hand, and I'm sure it's going to be really sticky on the ball as well. And Nike kind of said that they didn't really make the grip knit on the GX2 super grippy compared to the GX1. There's a little bit more consistency when it's dry and when it's wet. So I guess that's good. But first impressions, feeling it in the hand, it feels pretty grippy. Like I don't really notice a huge difference. Like it doesn't feel any less or any more grippy than the GX2. It still feels pretty sticky in hand. And I'm pretty sure it's going to feel the same on the ball. Maybe it might feel less sticky, I'm not sure, or more consistent. But it does feel really grippy in hand. And I'm very happy that that carried over from the GX1 and not the Luna, just because the Luna didn't really have that really grippy sensation. Yes, it had some grip, but it wasn't as grippy as the GX. And the upper itself is very soft. It is softer than the previous Phantom. Now the GX was pretty soft, but for me, I feel like this one is a lot softer right out of the box. Like the GX does get softer as you play with them, and there's a little bit of break-in time, not a lot, but just a little, just to get the upper even softer. But this one already feels really soft, like, and I haven't even like really worn them all that much. I did try them on, but I haven't really like tried them on for that long. And this upper is already nice and soft, nice and pliable. The upper itself also feels a little bit thinner. This is a one-piece upper compared to the GX2 that did have like kind of like the grip nib and then the fly knit base under it. This one has like all in one together, the fly knit, the grip knit, and the high tenacity yarns. And so it's all one upper. And so that kind of just means less layers of material. And so overall, it is a bit thinner. And maybe that's why also it's a bit softer right out of the box. So here in the middle, we do get a knitted material, fly knit, and it's very stretchy. Also with this model, we do get the laces kind of moved off to the side a bit more, and you do get a cleaner striking area, you guys can see. And what's also new that was implemented from the Luna onto the GX are these ridges here. Now the ridges themselves aren't really like that hard. They kind of flow nicely with the upper. Like they're not restrictive in any way. It doesn't take away from the softness of the upper, as you guys can see. Still nice, soft, and flexible. But you guys can physically like feel them, like in hand. Like they're really like obviously noticeable. And so I feel like this actually might add a bit more grip. And obviously it's gonna add texture to the ball whenever you're shooting or dribbling and stuff like that. And also something that I kind of wanted to mention is that they don't feel hollowed out. Like they're actually like knitted yarns. It's kind of like not thick, but obviously it does have some thickness to it. I honestly thought it would be like a embossed material and that when you strike the ball it would flatten, but no, not really. It is like a thicker like knitted material there. So I guess when you're striking the ball, it might have a nice sensation on it. I'm not sure. And the upper itself, obviously because it is grip knit, it is going to provide a good amount of grip. And maybe just having these like things here is just going to add a little bit more like spin maybe. I'm not sure. That's what I'm guessing. That's kind of what happens when you do have more of these like ridges here. They do kind of grip more and spin the ball ever so slightly more. So we'll see if it does make any difference on the ball and if it does add extra like grip on the ball. I'll let you guys know when I do the play test if it feels any different compared to the GX1. I feel like there won't be a huge difference, maybe just a slight difference in feel, but for the most part I feel like it's going to feel pretty similar to the GX1. Maybe because the upper is thinner, you might feel those ridges a bit more. Like in the Luna, you honestly didn't really feel it just because the upper was a bit thicker, but because the GX2 is a bit thinner, you actually might feel these ridges a bit more. Alright, so now we'll move on to the heel, and the heel feels the exact same as the GX1. It's nice and padded. We still get that low like internal heel counter that's kind of cut off here in the back, so it's nice and flexible. No real structure here in the back, so people might find this comfortable, but there is still like an internal heel counter that kind of locks in right here, as well as these little like plastic side pieces here that does a really good job of kind of holding and kind of stabilizing your foot from side to side, so there isn't really much movement. And with the amount of padding that you get here, it just feels very secure. So I'm hoping this performs the same as this GX1 just because I had no problems with it and they were really comfortable in the heel. Now on with the sole plate, and here you guys can see this is the AG variation of this boot. And I decided to go with the AG just because the firm ground version is the Luna sole plate. The boot right here, you guys can see that right there. It's like the Cyclone 360 sole plate, which for me, honestly, I'm not a big fan of. I didn't really enjoy it that much on the Luna. And when I saw that they were going to release it on the GX2, I was really like mixed feelings just because I didn't really enjoy that sole plate. Then I saw that the AG sole plate was the exact same as the GX1, so I just decided to go for the AG sole plate. It's the exact same sole plate, but just with conical studs instead of all those like different triangle and like chevron studs. And obviously the stud pattern is meant for AG, but the studs are kind of long enough where you can use them on firm ground. Pros have used this like sole plate. Like, I remember Neymar, when he was injured, he would use the AG sole plate. So you guys can use the AG sole plate on firm ground. And Nike before in their AG sole plates used to have like a kind of rubber tip that was a little bit softer, and that's actually kind of gone. This is a hard plastic. You guys can see there is no real like give to the conical stud here because it is hollowed out, if you guys can see that. And so there was a little bit of flex, but this time around it doesn't really feel like you can squeeze them at all. So I feel like they're going to be a bit more durable in FG, and obviously on AG they're going to be fine. Alright, so now we'll move on to an on-feet portion so you guys can see them on feet, and also I'll talk about the fit and sizing of the boot. Alright guys, so here I have the Nike Phantom GX2 on feet, and right out of the box, these boots are just super comfortable. They do fit a little bit different compared to the GX1, and I don't want to compare the GX1 and the GX2 too much in this video just because I will do a separate comparison video for that, and so I'll talk about it more in that video. But just to quickly compare it, the GX2 just fits a little bit loose, I guess is the best way to explain it, compared to the GX1. I feel like the GX1 just had a bit more closer to the foot type of feel. The GX2 doesn't feel as snug. So here with the GX2, I feel like there's a little bit more volume and a bit more width to the boot overall, especially here in the midfoot. Here in the midfoot, I feel like there's just a little bit more volume, and it just fits a little bit more comfortable right out of the box. Like the GX1, yes, it's comfortable, but there is a little bit of a break-in period just to make that upper just a little bit softer. And with the GX2, these already feel nice and soft. They just feel super comfortable right out of the box. And I feel like people are going to like this fit a little bit more just because they are comfortable. And if you do have a bit of a wider foot, or if you do have a wider foot, this will just feel a lot more comfortable compared to the GX1. And so in terms of the width, like I said, good amount of width in the midfoot. Here in the toe box, it is still pretty narrow. It does come up to a point a little. If you don't like your toes like being squeezed a lot, maybe this isn't a good option, just because you guys can see here the toe box is a little bit more narrow, although there is a little bit more volume in my opinion compared to the GX1. In the midfoot you do get a little bit more volume and more like width here. So if you guys do have a bit of a wider foot, these are a really good option in my opinion, because they're not really tight in the midfoot anymore. Also, in terms of sizing, I went true to size and these fit perfectly, so I would just recommend going true to size. Here in the back of the heel, it is very comfortable. There's a good amount of padding, no real pressure points, feels nice and soft, and the lockdown seems pretty good because there is a good amount of padding. It's holding your heel pretty securely, and so like they're not slipping out or anything. They feel nice and secure. So I am happy with the way they feel and fit on feet. They're just comfortable. They still feel like a GX1, just a little bit more volume. Alright, so now I'll just leave you guys with my final thoughts. So overall with the GX2, I'm glad that they did not dramatically change the boot. They kind of changed things here and there and just tweak things. It's a little bit more comfortable right out of the box. I really like these ridges that they added that add just a little bit more texture when you're dribbling or maybe shooting the ball. I'll let you guys know in the full review as well in the playtest. And they did change the fit a little bit, but I feel like that's for the better just because more people are going to be more comfortable in this boot. These do have a bit more volume in the midfoot, so I feel like people that have wide feet are going to be a bit more comfortable straight out of the box compared to the GX1. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the GX2. I'm excited to try them and wear them on the field. I will do a playtest video as soon as I can, and I will upload it as soon as I can. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified for the playtest video as well as the full review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.